Go with the flow to at least some degree is something that I would advise. And it's something that I have to remind myself about all the time because I still have this tendency to want to know everything, but it's really impossible to do that with every single thing that you do. Most instilled in my brain is probably Big Fives my freshman year. So Big Five is basically like half of the Big Ten conference, and it's like a stepping stone before we hit actual Big Tens. But it was a meet that was on podium, so it was kind of a little bit more formal and like just higher stakes. And we knew that we like were in the place to like win this meet if we had a normal meet. But I also think we were so excited, and it was one of those meets where like everything was going well, nobody was nervous, and it was just like genuinely fun start to finish. And we won that meet, and then we got like our Big Ten regular season hats and shirts, and then like we also ended on a bye. So we like knew we won the meet, and then basically like we're in the locker room waiting for the last event to finish, and we were just like blasting Kesha. And it was just so much fun because it was just, we were all excited as a team, and it was something that we knew we were getting rings. Like we get rings for being regular season champions. So it was just it was a very rewarding feeling. And as a freshman, it's like your first time going to a meet like that and seeing that many schools. Like it wasn't just a dual meet. There were like 4 other teams. So tons of fun and just, yeah, very rewarding and cool to see as a freshman. For my Yurchenko full and a half, I have done this skill for years, and I normally would have a good landing on them, but I didn't stick them that frequently. And in college, obviously, like you try to stick, so having like no steps at all. And one of the reasons why I'd always take a step forward is because like after my hands hit the table, I would like snap my toes down too much instead of like keeping my toes in the air and then like waiting for my upper body to meet my toes. So that's been something for a good amount of time where like my coach was like, oh, that was really good, but like you snapped too much or you piked too much before you started the twist. And then finally I learned how to really be patient on that and just like, okay, I want the skill to go up more versus going out. Like distance is really good, but also there's a happy medium. Like you also need to go relatively high so it's easier for you to stick. And then at some point I was able to like finally stop snapping my toes. And then I started sticking most of my vaults. Like last season I probably had stuck the most that I had stuck in any season of my life. I don't stick every time, but it's definitely like the odds have gotten much, much higher. And that was probably a rewarding change because it is super small and it's not necessarily like something that's that obvious, but it's obvious in terms of like how you land the skill. It's kind of hard to use mental gymnastics because you have no baseline of how the skill is supposed to feel. So a lot of times what we'll do to try to avoid that or supplement that is doing a ton of drills. So for gymnastics, like if you're doing a skill that like goes over the high bar, you would do a ton of drills where like you're getting super close to going over the high bar, but you don't actually do it. And then all you'd have to do from there is like actually let go, and then you would go over the bar. So there's a lot of stepping stones, and mentally I think you have to just be able to get in the mindset where you're like, okay, I know I'm actually doing the real skill now, but I need to approach this as if I'm doing it like exactly like the drill. And I think that's when gymnasts are probably most effective and efficient with getting new skills if they've really like keyed down the separate components that make up the skill. Like I said, academia, so I want to go back to school at some point and hopefully get my PhD. So that's like something that I want to do. But along with that, I also do want to start my own business at some point. I have no idea like what the business will be, but I think that's also something that I definitely want to do before, I'm too old or just don't have the time to do it. I think it'd be a good challenge and also just something that gets me excited and also helps me learn more. Be patient with yourself and also just be patient with life. Like I am someone who loves predictability. Like I will plan out everything to a T if I can, but I have hit certain circumstances that have like completely shocked me and been really hard to deal with at the time. But typically you learn a lot from it and they're never the end of the world. Like things blow over a lot faster than you think they do. So just being able to go with the flow to at least some degree is something that I would advise. And it's something that I have to remind myself about all the time because I still have this tendency to want to know everything, but it's really impossible to do that with every single thing that you do.